Hi guys, welcome to Music B&B. I'm 315, and today I'm joined by Scott Mick. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, from Hollywood Nightmare, a metalcore band. If you haven't seen the reaction yet to the Rayne, which is a song I've reacted to, it's an amazing song. But not only just that song, the actual whole album, which I've had to listen to, Inferno, is an incredible album as well. Let's start first of all by going into a bit of background about yourself and the band, how you got started. So let's go from there.
Well, I'm from South Korea. I moved out here to United States when I was 18 after graduating from high school, and I attended a school called Musicians Institute. It's right on Hollywood Boulevard. I studied guitar, and that's how I met some members from Hollywood Nightmare, like our previous singer Marcus and our current vocalist Kyle. Um, that's like Hollywood Nightmare first started as a school project. At first, I was just doing something for a class doing the LPW, but as we collab and writing music together, like the more fun that we get into it, there's more stuff coming up, and I starting to writing a lot of demos for the band. Later on, we started doing our music video, and that's how I found most of our members. Like I just went to school and asked for my friends, say, "Hey, you want to be in a music video or what?" And it showed up, and I mean, me and the drummer has been practicing prior to that. Like him and I and our bass player were the only committed ones. So,
Right.
um, I mean, eventually it turned out this way, and we are the only members left in the band, and we had additional bass player joining us, like during COVID, actually.
Right.
But yeah, that's how the band started. Like mostly started from that school. Like it had a
I'll
lot
tell you
going
what, I
on.
love the high school bands, like when they start. Some of my favorite bands have been ones that I've started, from high school, and that's great. How long were you learning guitar? Were you learning guitar before you moved to the US, or were you learning prior to that?
I did. I played guitar for 11 years, and that's that's a long time.
I think it shows as well, like what you can do on the guitar, not just in the one song, but actually just listening to the whole of Inferno. Like it seems like you have such a range of inspiration. So I think that leads to my next question: what first got you into music?
I was surrounded by musicians, like not dedicated musicians, but it's just my family wants me to play piano like my neighbor's kid. Uh, I hated that, and I started playing guitar when I was 11 just to, you know, fuck piano.
Oh, so I'm guessing you didn't get into metal straight away. There must have been some kind of like stepping stones before you got there.
There was definitely a stepping stone. My grandpa got me a acoustic guitar before anything else that I own right now. Um, I pretty much just learned it for fun until I realized that there's this thing called electric guitar, and it makes awesome sound.
I think I have to say I'm the same. I until I my dad was kind of okay with it until I started listening to bands like Trivium, and then he just started calling it like the devil's music and everything like that. um so yeah, my background's mainly in like post-hardcore as well. So I feel you. I started when I was 8, same kind of way, classical guitar, and then moving on to electrical guitar, and then realizing how great screamo and stuff like that was at the time. So how would you describe the music that your band typically creates?
Um, Good metalcore.
I have to say, like listening to it, sometimes I'm hearing like elements of I Prevail. and then I'm hearing like elements of I don't know, asking Alexandra, and then I'm hearing like Trivium, and then it's just like seems like you've got such a range of like inspirations. I'm hearing so much from lots of different kind of bands that have been before, but done it in a new way. What if you had to choose maybe five bands that are your like five's quite a lot, but a few bands that are your biggest influences? What would you say?
Number one would be Linkin Park,
Okay, okay.
and
I guess
yeah,
that's where the electronic elements come into it then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay.
Um,
Old stuff, new stuff, both.
Both.
Both. I
Yeah.
remember seeing them play "Count Your Blessings" in Birmingham Barfly, I think, Academy 2 it was, and it was just like chaos. And then seeing them now as what they are is just immense. So yeah, they're great inspiration.
Definitely. Polyphia is definitely another one for me.
Okay, is that more for like the technical side of things, guitar wise? That's just something I can't emulate on the guitar. It's bonkers. Yeah.
It's very fun to play. Like all of their song is like hard as fuck,
Mm.
and it takes forever just to learn one riff. But once you get it, like you just abuse the fuck out of the technique, and pretty much write anything like Polyphia just with the right technique and the right tone. Like
Yeah. I have to say, when I was reacting to the rain, I did actually mention Polyphia at one point. I was like, "This is the Polyphia section," It came up to that, but yeah, listening through it, there seems to be such like a palette, a range of music, which is something I really like. One of my favorite bands is Enter Shikari, and they're just so like different all the time. So I do love that when there's such a big change. So with like such a range of influences, and obviously other people in the band contributing, what's your creative process like? Does one of you lead like the songwriting or the lyrics, or is it a group effort?
It's it used to be just me and the singer doing the collaboration, but lately the band has been like I would say the chemistry has been getting better, and like the longer we play, the more we want to everybody in the band to put in effort.
Mm,
But the process is usually I will start writing my ideas down with the guitar riff and some MIDI drums and send it to the group. Like I'll usually send them like 2 to 3 different tracks saying that yo, does any of this have potentials for us to use? Like everybody will sit down and give it a listen, and sometimes we'll all agree on one song, but sometimes
mm.
we just kind of have a higher standard for ourselves.
Hey, that's a good thing to have though, and it's good to have people that will push against you sometimes, as long as it's done in a nice way. And it sounds like you do it in an excited group way instead, which is what's needed. And also, I think making music and demos is a lot easier these days, I'd say, than it used to be. I remember 10 years ago, I'd have to send like my Guitar Pro sessions to my bandmates so that they'd listen to it and it would sound terrible, but those would be my demos. But now you can just quickly, plug into a door and go, can't you? So brilliant. So background for the album. This is your second album, if I'm right.
Yes.
Well, at least on streaming platforms, that's the second one, isn't it? So what was the inspiration for this one? Is there a core theme? Uh, so what's the background really?
The background of this album, we have a fire theme in the background, you know. Like it has a song like Ash, it has a song literally called Fire. And
Supernova.
Supernova, like everything about this album is very hot and rad.
Mm,
And it's a step up from our previous album, Scary AF, which was a 7 song EP.
yeah.
Like just in general it's like a step up, like both on guitar technique, vocal melodies, and like dynamics of the band. It's definitely a challenge for us to accomplish this one comparing to any other things that we've done so far.
Nice. I'll have to listen to your first one. Was it Scary AF? Is Is that
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I'll have to have a listen to that one to see the difference because the quality in this album is top tier. Like you'd listen to that and it would just, it would blend in really well, but still stand out with a lot of other bands in the metalcore scene. Um, where did you get it produced? Because I want to meet that producer.
I have a friend. His name is Eric. He lives about 2 hours away from us, and I will record all the instrumentals at my studio, and our drummer will help me with the MIDI arrangement with the drums. Once we have all the instruments being completely recorded, and we'll burn them out as stems and send it to our guy. And Kyle, our singer, will go to his house just to track his vocals.
Yeah.
And once it's done, we will just do the mix and master with him.
Wow. That sounds so easy. I mean, from the
Yeah.
production standard there, that is like great quality. Make sure to tell Kyle, make sure to tell how amazing it was because his production's top notch. Yeah, it's really, really good. So who would be interested in this album? Who is it for? If you had
With the
an
score.
like if you were trying to say you know, who would you like your listener to be? Would it be like someone who was interested in a certain theme, a certain topic? Just for metalheads, is it more for progressive? Those kind of questions.
Just a question. Like literally yesterday, we were on a stream for like a DW present Twitch program. Um, Most of those people they are into rock in general, but like they hated one of our previous songs that we submitted. So I would say age around 18 to 28. That's like our biggest fan base. Like nothing have to do with teenagers, you know.
I
Like
am I am I'm gutted you said that. I'm 31 and there are people older than me and diehard metalcore fans. Like Kill
I feel
Switch,
yeah,
Avenged Sevenfold fans. You just offended by saying 28 there.
but for those who are older than 28, well, you guys are the real metalheads, and I respect you guys for
I've
yeah,
said
good music.
I'm no gatekeeper. Definitely not. Everyone do what you want.
Like even metalcore, this name is such a vague definition now, and like,
Yeah.
what is metalcore anymore?
Well,
Like,
that's it. Like when you said post-hardcore, I think when you first showed it to me, I was like post-hardcore. That could mean 2,000 things. Like
yeah,
there's no one genre there, and that's why when listening to you guys, I was like, I've heard that. I've heard that. That's new. That's new. That's definitely inspiration there. There's inspiration there. It's grown to be this massive thing in a way like rock has. You said rock's dead. It's not. It's just completely different to what it used to be. Um, so personal question: what's your favorite song from the album and why?
my favorite song of the album is Fade Out.
Me too.
I just, yeah.
I don't
Uh,
know. It's something about the riff. There's something about the melodies. The vocals are great. So yeah, I hear
yeah,
of mice and men in it.
there's something about that song it kind of lit up everybody's scene phase,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's like very 2008 Vans Warped Tour kind of song.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, like all the nostalgia just came flooding over me when I heard that. I was like, "This is the one. This is the one." Do the fans respond mostly to that one compared to others? Is that one that fans usually pick out?
Mostly yes, but that that one and some of our newer release songs, including Inferno and Temptation, are like the top three songs that we have.
Right.
But the rain's about to come out. Like I hope this song is the one that will change our career completely. But
Really?
you know, crossed.
That leads me to my next question. When it comes to creating a music video and choosing a song for a music video, was it a bit of a struggle deciding on which song to do the music video for?
Definitely, like it's such a hit and miss kind of situation. Like certain people will like a certain song just based on their mood, and so do we. We are only four guys that
Yeah.
like we only deal with each other like musically so much that we just kind of bypass with all the standard from like everybody else. So it was definitely a struggle for us to pick what song to do, and we
Mm,
had to go through a lot of people to get their opinions.
right, right. Yeah, I would have struggled like myself to pick one of those. If it was me, I would have gone maybe Fade Out, like you say, Inferno. I was a thing always have a thing about choosing the first song on the album as my favorite, but I do really like Inferno as well. You know, just because it's the first one, I'm like, no, I've got to listen further through and see what else I can pick out. But yeah, it's really good. And considering, well, I'd say you're kind of new on the scene. You've got some great production behind you and video production. Where did you go for video production as well? Because the video production is really, really good too.
We've been collaborating with this director. His name is Frankie. He's from I think Russia, and this guy has his team and like with lightings and filming, like this guy is on a top notch, but with he has the best pricing for all of these underground artists. Like like you have seen it in the video, like his editing is insane.
Yeah, no, that was ridiculous. It looked so good. How wet did you get?
Oh boy. Um
Was any gear destroyed?
there's no gears being destroyed because the gears were already broken prior to the shoot.
I just got a sneak preview to what it was actually like there.
It's way
Okay,
back.
fair enough. So you say like the guitars, everything were already gone, really?
Yeah, like the string was already fucked and like the didn't work. And
Right.
I was so ready to sell the guitar. I literally sold the guitar 2 days after the video shoot.
Yeah, well, it looks really good. I think you're sacrificing anyway, aren't you? When you were messing with water, had to. But yeah, I know it's called Rain, the song that I reacted to, because it's named after someone you knew. Their last name was Rain, wasn't it?
Yes.
Um, was it also playing the words with rain, as in the music video there was water?
Um, it wasn't in the plan, but
It just seemed like a really big sort of coincidence. The words
yeah,
sound the same. I'm very simple. Words sound the same. There we go. No, that was a. It's a really meaningful song though as well, Rain. And I know you did kind of touch on it briefly what it was about. Would you be able to tell me a bit more about what the Rain is about?
yes, it's about the awareness of alopecia, and we as a band trying to help everybody who have the thought of suicide to stay strong and like seek help if you feel that way. And
Hmm.
we're here with you guys.
Oh, definitely, definitely. So is the story to do with a person that had alopecia and suicidal thoughts because of having alopecia?
Yes.
Yeah, and that can be really tricky and really hard to come to terms with as well. Definitely, because it can happen at some point in
Yeah,
your life.
especially yeah,
Yeah.
especially if it's someone that you know or someone that you care about a lot, and obviously you don't want them to get hurt, and especially having the thought of that breaks our heart.
Yeah. And it's coming back from it as well. There's a UK band called In Me, where the lead singer, he used to have full set of hair. He got alopecia. All his hair went, and he was kind of away from the scene for about a year or so. Then got back on his feet, came back with the band, and played some really ridiculous stuff. He's doing really well for himself, but it can be really hard to come to terms with that, can't it? And we stand with people who are struggling, definitely. Yeah. So if you could give people a reason to listen to your music, what would you say? What makes it unique from other bands? There are lots of metalcore bands out there, aren't there? Um, and the scene is very big now, thanks to streaming, the availability of recording. The scene is huge for metalcore, and it's a lot easier to make it. And for like I could make it just in my room today. So, what would make it unique enough for people to listen to your band compared to others?
Um, is there like think about the bands that you know of like that have been putting out an awesome album, but there's certain songs in the album is just quite not in the cut. And we
Filler.
are we're the type of band that won't put out any of that kind of bullshit. And if you want to enjoy a good album, like Hollywood Nightmare is a shit.
I'd agree. Like I'd listened to Inferno twice through now, walking the dog, um, and I've enjoyed it. I don't think there's been a skip. It's all killer, no filler, as some 41 would say. Really, really good. So I always ask this question anyway. Have you ever performed your music? Obviously, you're in a band, so clearly you have. Where have you performed, and do you have any upcoming shows? If so, where can we find out about them?
Yes. We have been playing everywhere in America. Like we haven't gone on tour yet, but we've done a lot of shows in states. Um, we are actually having a show coming up in 2023. It's gonna be in Los Angeles at the venue called Whiskey A Go Go. You can find all the information on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll be updating more details on Spotify later this year.
Excellent. And all the links will be linked down below in this YouTube video and also on the podcast too. Um, so a big one, and obviously we've arranged this interview. So this is kind of my biggest question I tend to ask people. How do you feel the internet has impacted your approach to being an artist, to being a group? So
I
it used to
think
be
it gives.
like you'd hand out flyers, you'd hand out CDs, merch at shows, and then it used to be like days of MySpace where it'd be like, make sure to tell your friends, top friends list, whatever. So how is it different these days?
I think it's easier to reach out to people with your events, and there's more people are aware about your events, but the engagement is like going down because of the internet. Because back in the day, when you were handing out the flyers to people, there's still like face-to-face conversation and there's interaction between people, but nowadays you just create these events on Facebook and inviting people to come to the thing. Like I just hate the interested button on the Facebook events, you know?
Yes.
Like, it shows you there's so many people are interested in going to your concert,
Mm.
yet they don't show up.
Interested is just maybe it's the polite way of saying no.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Like like
Unfortunately, it is so saturated, isn't it? It's saturated by so many people. We're in a sea of people that are trying to be heard, and we're trying to figure out the algorithms everywhere so that we are heard the most, definitely. So your approach to being an artist, has it become more virtual online than booking shows and doing things that way?
um I'll say I go both ways. Like there's definitely pros and cons with the internet promotion on the events and music itself, but physical distribution such as CDs and vinyls are like more valuable for the true diehard fans to collect at the concerts and everything that you can interact with everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of miss doing more of that, and it feels like it has become more online. But you kind of want to do more. But now you've got artists that won't even do their first show really until they're at, they've got enough streams on Spotify or whatever, when they know they're going to get the people coming to the shows. So it's a different world. It's a new world. It's interesting though because your videos, your streams online, they're looking good. They're growing. Production's awesome. It looks so professional that you know it's people are going to make a connection with that. They're going to enjoy it definitely. Um, so the final question really is, what is next for you? So what is next for Hollywood Nightmare?
We are actually working on something that's like completely different from what we've been doing, and I can't say too much about it, but I can say it's personal
Okay.
and it's chaotic, and
Okay.
there's a lot of drama going on with certain people that we're dealing with. And
Right.
yeah, that's all I can tell you guys.
Hey, that sounds really interesting. I know how you said it's completely different from what you've done before, but in terms of what I've been listening to anyway, the variety in Inferno is so big that I kind of wouldn't expect anything less from you guys in your next thing to be different. Um, and that's what I feel makes you guys more unique than other metalcore bands is I'm not hearing the same song 12 times in a row. I'm hearing a lot of different stuff and inspiration. So that's really good. So because I host an independent artist show and podcast and I'm still growing myself, um what would you say is a useful tip for being heard in such a saturated market?
Um, Such a market requires the connections with people, and also it's like word of mouth. Like the more people talk about you, the more opportunities that you get, the more opportunity you get, the more followers you get. That's what I can say. And I would say do as much collaborations as you can with your fellow musician friends or like people that you know. Like this will not only help to grow as an artist, but also building connections with people. Because for example, if we play in UK, I would definitely invite you to come out to see us.
I would love that. I would love that. Get me a few tickets. I'd definitely
Yeah.
bring my friends along as well. Yeah, that'd be a wild night. Yeah, if you definitely come to the UK, you'll have a better time touring. You won't have to travel as far. We're a small island, and we take care of our Americans as well.
Our list for sure.
Lovely. Well, it's been lovely having you on, Scott. So goodbye, I guess.
Oh my word.